What if the secret to feeling energized, losing stubborn weight, and reversing years of sluggishness was something as simple and surprising as eating more fiber every day? Here's how I discovered the life-changing power of fiber after turning 50. If you had met me 5 years ago, you would have seen a man in his mid-50s who looked fine on the outside but was quietly battling a storm within. My name is David, and this is the story of how something as simple as increasing fiber in my diet completely transformed my health, my energy, and ultimately my life. I used to believe that health problems were just part of growing older. The aches in my joints, the bloating after every meal, the stubborn belly fat, the constant fatigue. I thought these were all just normal signs of aging. I blamed it on slowing metabolism, bad genes, and stress from work. But deep down, I knew something was off. Then came my wake-up call. It was during a routine doctor's appointment. I had gone in just to renew a prescription for my acid reflux. But after reviewing my blood work, my doctor looked at me with concern. My cholesterol was creeping up. My blood sugar levels were borderline pre-diabetic, and I had gained nearly 20 pounds in just 2 years. He gently but firmly told me, "David, if you don't change your lifestyle now, you're heading straight toward type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and more medications than you can count." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his words echo in my mind. I didn't want to be the guy who popped pills for breakfast and lived in the waiting room of the doctor's office. I wanted to be able to play with my future grandkids, travel with my wife, and enjoy my retirement with energy, not in pain. But where to start? I tried a few things, cutting carbs, skipping meals, buying sugar-free snacks, but nothing seemed to make a real difference. I was frustrated, until one day, while scrolling through a health podcast, I stumbled on an episode titled, "The Power of Fiber, the Underrated Supernutrient." I almost skipped it. Fiber? That bland, boring thing they mention on cereal boxes? But something made me listen. The host interviewed a nutritionist who spoke about fiber like it was a miracle cure. She explained how fiber supports gut health, lowers cholesterol, stabilizes blood sugar, and even helps with weight loss. More importantly, she shared real stories of people who had turned their lives around, not by going on crazy diets, but by simply eating more fiber. I was skeptical at first, but I was also desperate, so I decided to give it a try. I started small. I added oats to my breakfast instead of toast. I swapped white rice for brown rice at dinner. I sprinkled chia seeds on my yogurt and made lentil soup twice a week. And I committed to having a salad every single day, even if it was just a side. The first week wasn't easy. My gut had to adjust. There was more gas, more trips to the bathroom, but it wasn't painful. In fact, it felt like my body was finally doing what it was supposed to do. And then something amazing happened. By the third week, I noticed I wasn't bloated after meals anymore. My energy started returning. I didn't feel the need to crash at 3 p.m. like I used to. I felt lighter, not just in body, but in mood too. My wife noticed it before I did. "You're glowing," she said one morning, "and you've stopped snoring." That was the moment I knew I was onto something real. I began to dig deeper into fiber-rich foods, beans, lentils, berries, avocados, leafy greens, whole grains. The more I learned, the more excited I got. It was like I had found a missing key, and I realized how little attention we give to fiber in our diets, especially as we age. It's not just about digestion, it's about inflammation, immunity, metabolism, and even mental clarity. The more fiber I added, the more my body responded with gratitude. By the end of the third month, I had lost 8 pounds without even trying. My acid reflux disappeared. I slept better, thought clearer, and smiled more. My doctor was stunned when he saw my next blood results. Cholesterol was down, blood sugar was stable, and for the first time in years, I felt truly healthy. That was just the beginning. In the next part, I'll share how I fine-tuned my high-fiber lifestyle, overcame some challenges, and even inspired my friends to make changes too. But for now, let me leave you with this. If you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you think it's too late to feel good again, think again. Sometimes the smallest change makes the biggest difference. For me, that change started with fiber. After those first few months of noticeable improvements, I thought my battle was mostly won. But as anyone who's tried to change their eating habits knows, the journey is rarely that simple. Increasing fiber intake sounds easy in theory, but putting it into daily practice, especially in middle age when old habits die hard, proved to be a real test of patience and commitment. At first, the results kept coming. I continued to lose weight steadily. My digestion became rock-solid regular, and my energy level soared. I even noticed subtle changes I hadn't expected. My skin looked clearer, my mood was more stable, and I felt less anxious. Fiber wasn't just helping my gut, it was helping my whole body. But life, of course, had other plans. One challenge was social situations. I'm a person who loves to eat out with friends, and let me tell you, restaurants don't always prioritize fiber. Burgers, fries, and white bread dominated the menus. I remember one Friday night when we went to a popular steakhouse. I wanted to stick to my high-fiber routine, but everything seemed so tempting and convenient. I ordered a salad as a starter, but the main was a heavy, carb-loaded dish with very little fiber. The next day, my stomach rebelled. I felt sluggish, bloated, and a little frustrated. It hit me hard. Old habits were lurking everywhere, and I had to learn how to navigate them without feeling deprived. So I got creative. Instead of just relying on salads or whole grains, I started exploring fiber supplements. But not the artificial powders you see in ads. I focused on natural, whole food sources in concentrated forms. For example, I discovered psyllium husk powder, which I added to my morning smoothie. It was tasteless and easy to mix, but packed with soluble fiber that soothed my gut. I also became a big fan of beans and lentils. They became staples in my diet. Chili, stews, and bean salads replaced many processed meals. I learned how to cook with chickpeas, black beans, and kidney beans in ways that were not only healthy but delicious. My wife even joined me in this adventure, and our meals became a time of bonding and discovery. Another challenge I faced was patience. Sometimes progress seemed slow, and I wondered if all the effort was worth it. I had moments when I missed my old snacks, chips, candy bars, and pastries. The cravings hit hardest in the late afternoon, when my energy dipped and stress crept in. To deal with this, I created high-fiber snack kits at home and at work. Nuts, dried fruits without added sugar, fresh vegetables with hummus, and homemade granola bars became my go-to. Not only did this keep cravings at bay, but it also made me feel in control. I wasn't giving up treats, I was upgrading them. One surprising benefit was how fiber helped my mental clarity. I work in a demanding job, often juggling multiple tasks. But after embracing a high-fiber diet, I found myself less foggy and more focused during the afternoon slump. Research later confirmed what I was experiencing. Fiber supports gut bacteria that produce beneficial compounds affecting brain health and mood. My family also started to notice changes. My wife commented on my better sleep patterns, and my teenage daughter asked why I suddenly seemed more patient and less irritable. I shared my journey with them, and soon they began adding more fiber-rich foods to their own diets. It became a family affair. However, I wasn't out of the woods yet. One day, after weeks of good progress, I had a stressful work week. I slipped back into old eating habits, fast food, skipped meals, and little fiber. The result? My blood sugar spiked, and I felt drained and frustrated. It was a wake-up call that fiber wasn't just a fad or a short-term fix. It was a lifelong commitment. So I recommitted. I revisited my goals, planned my meals more carefully, and kept learning about the many types of fiber: soluble, insoluble, fermentable. Each plays a unique role in keeping our digestive system smooth and healthy. I even started tracking my fiber intake with an app to stay accountable. Looking back, I realized the journey wasn't just about eating more fiber. It was about learning to listen to my body, understanding how food affects my energy and mood, and developing habits that nourish me physically and emotionally. Today, fiber is no longer a chore or a healthy choice. It's part of who I am. And the best part, I feel younger than I did 10 years ago. In the next and final part, I'll share the long-term effects this lifestyle brought me, the unexpected ways fiber improved my life, and how I now inspire others to take control of their health through simple, sustainable changes. But for now, if you're thinking about trying this yourself, remember, change is a journey, not a race. Be patient with yourself, keep exploring new foods, and celebrate every small victory. Looking back on my journey with a high-fiber diet, I realize how much it has transformed my life. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. The change didn't happen overnight, and it certainly wasn't without setbacks, but the long-term benefits made every effort worthwhile. One of the most profound changes was how much more in control I felt over my health. Before, I often felt at the mercy of unpredictable digestive issues, bloating, irregularity, and fatigue. Those symptoms gradually faded, replaced by a sense of balance and well-being I hadn't experienced in years. My energy levels became steady throughout the day, which improved my productivity at work and my ability to enjoy time with family in the evenings. I no longer needed that afternoon caffeine boost or unhealthy snacks to push me through a slump. Instead, I felt naturally energized by the fuel I was giving my body. Physically, I lost weight, but more importantly, I gained muscle tone and strength. My body felt lighter, more flexible, and less prone to aches. Even my blood pressure and cholesterol improved, which my doctor confirmed during my regular checkups. These changes gave me confidence and motivated me to maintain this lifestyle. Mentally, the benefits were just as striking. I noticed my mood stabilized, and my stress levels dropped. The connection between gut health and brain health, something I initially underestimated, became obvious in my daily life. I was calmer, more focused, and better equipped to handle life's challenges. My family also reaped the benefits. By sharing my journey, I encouraged them to adopt healthier eating habits. Our meals became more vibrant, varied, and nutritious. We even started cooking together more often, turning mealtime into quality family time. My teenage daughter developed a taste for fresh vegetables and whole grains, which was a proud moment for me. Beyond my household, I found joy in inspiring others. I shared my story with friends, colleagues, and even on social media. I discovered that many people around me struggled with similar issues: weight gain, digestive discomfort, low energy, but didn't know where to start. My experience became a beacon for them, showing that simple, sustainable changes like increasing fiber intake could have a huge impact. I started hosting small workshops and online chats to talk about practical ways to add fiber to everyday meals. We discussed myths about fiber, like it being boring or causing discomfort, and I shared tips on cooking beans, making easy high-fiber snacks, and reading nutrition labels effectively. Helping others made me feel empowered and connected to a community striving for better health. Of course, maintaining this lifestyle requires ongoing commitment. There are still occasional temptations, moments when I slip into old habits. But now, I'm equipped with knowledge and strategies to bounce back quickly. I plan meals ahead, keep fiber-rich snacks handy, and stay mindful of how my choices affect my well-being. One unexpected benefit was how fiber helped me age gracefully. As a middle-aged person, I worried about the typical aches, slower metabolism, and declining energy. But with fiber as a foundation, I've maintained vitality and strength well beyond what I imagined possible. It feels like I've turned back the clock, not in an extreme way, but by simply respecting my body's needs. So, if you're considering a high-fiber diet, here's what I want you to remember. Start slowly. Your body needs time to adjust. Explore a variety of fiber sources: fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. Listen to your body and adjust accordingly. Make it enjoyable by experimenting with recipes and flavors. Don't be discouraged by setbacks. They're part of the process. Share your journey with others. Support and accountability make a big difference. In the end, fiber is more than just a nutrient. It's a lifestyle choice that can transform your health and your life, just like it did for me. Thank you for following along my story. I hope it inspires you to take that first step toward better health. Because feeling good, energetic, and balanced is a gift we all deserve, no matter our age.